Good evening. This speech is going to be describing the impacts of hurricanes. Hurricanes are one of nature's most destructive and costly storms. Did you know a singular hurricane can produce as much energy as 10,000 nuclear bombs? Hurricanes are more than capable of wiping out entire cities, leaving nothing but destruction in the aftermath. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina made landfall in New Orleans, displacing millions of citizens and causing billions of dollars in damage. Every year, many Floridians suffer the impacts of these storms. According to Florida State University Climate, in 2024, all of Florida's coastlines have been impacted by at least one hurricane. This goes to show, no matter where you are in Florida, you're not safe from the impacts of these storms. Understanding preparation can lead to safety, which is a necessity. The table of contents will go over 4 points. The first point is going to be defining hurricanes and how they're classified. The second point is going to be explaining their formation and how they get strong over oceans. The third point is going to be going over the impacts of these storms. And lastly, we're going to be going over some tips you could use so you can stay safe during these storms. Now that hurricane importance has been discussed, let's define what a hurricane is and how they're classified. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration in 2025, a hurricane is a type of storm named a tropical cyclone. A tropical cyclone is a rotating low-pressure weather system that has organized thunderstorms with no fronts. Tropical cyclones form over tropical and subtropical waters, producing high winds, heavy rains, and storm surges. Hurricanes are classified to the Saffir-Simpson wind scale. As quoted from the National Weather Service Saffir-Simpson wind scale article in 2024, the Saffir-Simpson wind scale is a 1 to 5 rating based on a hurricane's wind speed. The Saffir-Simpson scale asserts above a category 3 is a major hurricane and 1 and 2 are not major hurricanes. A category 3 and above hurricane is considered major because it poses a great threat to life and property. Category 1 and 2 can also pose a threat to life and property, but not as bad. Now we understand hurricanes and their categories, let's look at how these storms develop with their stages. Hurricanes develop over warm water and have 4 stages before reaching hurricane status. According to SciJinx.gov, tropical cyclones are like engines that require warm, moist air as fuel. Did you know that in order for a hurricane to form, the ocean surface needs to be 80 degrees as well as 50 meters below? This is because that creates evaporation, and that's necessary for the development of cumulonimbus clouds. The 4 critical stages for hurricane development are tropical disturbances, which is thunderstorms with an organized wind in the middle. Stage 2 is a tropical depression, which has winds from 25 to 38 miles per hour. Stage 3 is a tropical storm. This is 39 to 73 miles per hour. This is where a storm gets its formal name and has a defined eye. And lastly, in stage 4, it reaches hurricane status. The winds are at least 74 miles per hour, it's at least 50,000 feet high, and 125 miles in diameter. Hurricane formation is unique and a fascinating occurrence of nature. It's time to steer away from the beauty and look at the scary effects these storms can have on communities and economies. The destructive impacts that hurricanes can have on communities and economies are prevalent for years to come. Hurricanes can have an emotional, economical, and physical impact. The deadliest part of a hurricane is actually the storm surge. According to an Ocean Today video, storm surge is water from the ocean that is pushed toward the shore by the force of the winds swirling around the hurricane. For an example, Hurricane Katrina in 2005 made landfall as a Category 3 storm, claiming the lives of over 1,836. The storm surges exceeded 20 feet. Economical impacts are very noticeable with these storms. According to a Congressional Budget Office, the U.S. annually loses $54 billion, and this is divided into 3 parts. $34 billion to households, $9 billion to commercial businesses, and $12 billion to the public sector. As said by Euronews 2024, Milton alone had an estimated $50 billion impact in damages, which is 45 billion euros. To avoid such losses of life and money, you could take measures to prepare. Hurricane safety and preparedness is necessary to boost survival. Planning ahead is the best way to increase your chances. One step you could take is making an emergency kit full of important documents that you may need. Second, you can find shelters on FEMA.gov. Third, you should always have 2 full cases of water and containers filled with water. 4, you should always fill up gas tanks and put gas in your generator if you have one. And lastly, always make sure to share your plans with relatives and friends to make sure that not only you, but they make it out safe as well. Now we've talked about what to do before a hurricane, but here's what to do during a hurricane. First, if you have a designated storm shelter, make way to that immediately. If you don't have one, an interior room in your house, void of windows, will do the job. Lastly, if it starts to flood, move to high ground. These storms are among the most destructive natural disasters, but knowledge and preparation means impacts can be reduced. Staying informed and ready can protect ourselves and our families. Hurricanes are beautiful, fascinating, and scary at the same time. Many have lost lives due to not taking these storms seriously. Patch News article, New 2025 Atlantic Forecast, states, the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season calls for 12 named storms and 5 hurricanes. In the past, deaths have occurred, but this year it can be prevented. That is if everyone understands that hurricanes are among the costliest and most destructive storms on Earth. And if you prepare right, you can make it out alive.